Or it was just the thought, is this it? And what I realized over time is this: it's not always about the moment that you break. It's about the moments that you realize. Those small recurring moments of perspective, even when they're blurry, hold an incredible amount of power. Because each time they return, they invite you to see yourself a little more clearly. For me, those realizations didn't come with instructions. They didn't tell me what to change or how to fix my life. They simply offered permission to pause, permission to question the patterns, to notice the cycles, the habits, the autopilot that had been quietly running in the background. For many women, these moments are the first time that they've allowed themselves permission to feel, I have outgrown this version of myself. And not as a criticism, just as an acknowledgement of growth. And that realization, when you notice you've outgrown the version of yourself that you've been living from, is incredibly tender and also incredibly important. Because disconnection is not a failure. It's information. It's your inner world quietly asking for your attention. For me, recognizing that changed everything. Not because I suddenly had answers or because I knew exactly what I needed to change, but because I finally understood what was actually happening. I wasn't broken. I was just disconnected. And disconnection doesn't always feel like pain. Sometimes it feels like nothing at all. If this resonates with you, or if you've been feeling those or noticing those quiet nudges or those repeated moments of discomfort, that sense of something that wants to grow, in my full talk at the Women Thrive Summit on March 16th at 1:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'll go deeper into what this disconnection is really asking of us. And I offer an invitation to come home to yourself slowly, honestly, and without needing to fix anything first. If you'd like to continue this conversation, I'd love to have you there. And you're also more than welcome to connect with me anytime. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for listening.
Erica, thank you. Thank you for sharing
Thank you.
and creating the space with courageous vulnerability to for women to step forward and say, look, something feels out of alignment, or I've reached a level of growth, and something just needs to happen. Like, there is a nudge or just a quiet reminder that just says, hey, it's time to perhaps do something about it. And just by you sharing what you've just shared today, I think you're opening opportunities for women to have that conversation. Because a lot of times they say, there's nothing quite wrong, but something is not quite right. And it's not something drastic I need to do, but I need to do something.
There's something to be said about living the life that checks all the boxes but doesn't touch your soul.
Ooh.
And I talk a little bit more about that, in my full talk at the Thrive Summit, but I think it's really important to know that disconnection and, those moments don't always have to be this big slap in the face moment. Sometimes they are just this little nudge that says I'm lost. And it's not that you can never be found again. It's truly that you just have to find your true self within all of that haze.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, a beautiful, beautiful share. And when life nudges you to answer that calling, you better pick up the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to listen to those little moments. They're the important ones.
Amazing. So I want to speak to our audience today. If your phone is ringing right now, answer it and go save yourself a seat at the Women Thrive Summit, because you need to go meet Erica and hear her talk.
I would love that.
Oh, Erica, where can people find you?
Definitely online. My personal profile, people can send me a friend request, Erica Ruth Federle. I have a women's empowerment group on Facebook called The Babe Cave. You can find me on my website, houseofher.ca. And all of my social media handles are at houseofher.ca as well.
I love it. Amazing. Well, great to have you here. I'm excited to have you at the Women Thrive Summit in March and can't wait to see what you got to share.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me today, Amanda. Have a good rest.
Thank you, Erica. Oh, I love it. If this is nudging at you, I think this answer the call. Answer the call because there's a reason why you're here. And I always believe that we are exactly where we're supposed to be. And even if it doesn't feel like, something doesn't feel right, maybe that is your nudge to say something needs to change. And if you are listening to this message right now, this is your nudge to do something about it. So there is no coincidences. And I believe if you are watching this right now, you're meant to be here in a room, whether there is a message for you, whether there is a person for you, or opportunity to connect with somebody. You are here for a reason. Let's go to our next speaker that I'm excited to bring on board. And she is Gwen Isaacs. She's a certified clinical sexologist, intimacy coach, and a host of What Excites Us podcast. She's the founder of Earthly Desire, where she helps women reconnect with their pleasure, confidence, and authentic desires. At Women Thrive, she presents Pleasure as Power, Reclaiming Confidence Through Desire, a talk that invites women to step back into their bodies, their wanting, and their personal authority. Gwen, I love that. How are you?
I'm great, Ramonda. Thank you so much.
Where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Brooklyn, New York, which I think everybody has heard of.
Yes, and have been there actually. So
next time, let me know. We'll get some tea.
Gwen, I will invite you to share. I know you have something interesting to share. I'll watch some of your videos, and I know you always have something juicy to share. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll come back at the end to have a little chit chat. So have fun.
Great. Well, I love the fact that Erica and I are back to back. We're in a small group in the Women Thrive. I think perhaps we've inspired each other a little bit, but also our messages are so not the same, but similar in the same frame. And it clearly we all need to hear it a bunch. So here we go. Listening to your body in a world where you are taught to ignore it is a revolutionary act. That is the quote of mine that Women Thrive shared in the social medias earlier this week. Thank you, Women Thrive. And it's a really great quote, and I deeply believe it. And it's also something that I'm actively practicing. Sometimes I have to remind myself. So seeing it come through, I was like, oh yeah, right. That's true, because I know it works to shift everything. I'm neurospicy. I wasn't diagnosed until my teenagers were. And between that and the CPTSD on my chart, one can say I've had some issues here and there. At my most recent lowest point, I was a sex coach struggling with the fact that I had no libido. None. Poof, gone, zero. It was like, what? And I wish that I could point to one dramatic moment where suddenly everything shifted and it all just magically changed. But honestly, it was lots and lots of really small moments. Moments like listening to talks like this. Moments where when the crack happens, the sun can shine in. Thank you, Leonard Cohen. That's not quite direct, but you know the point. I started to realize that I couldn't, and probably you can't either, guilt, shame, or push my way through all the things and start to feel good. Because like so many other women, I was taught to put everybody else's needs first, pleasure and joy and fun were a reward or something I did with the kids. And if it wasn't one of those two things, I had a lot of shame around it because, yay, Protestant work ethic and Jewish guilt. And it turns out that you can't counteract feeling badly by feeling badly about feeling badly. There isn't like it's not a fire hose that fills up a bucket and then you flow over and you feel good. That's just not how it works. What happens is, as Erica mentioned, it makes you tighter. You get constricted. You feel less connected to yourself and to others. And for me, it made me into a coach who could help you with your intimacy and your pleasure with your partner, either with communications or skills. And all I wanted to do was sit on my bed, watch Netflix, and play stupid video games. Totally numb out. So what changed was when I started giving myself permission to stop fighting my own body and start listening to what it was telling me. So instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? A more useful question can become, what might my body and my whole being be asking for? And most of the time, the answer isn't sexy or profound. It doesn't come in an epiphany or a massive breakthrough. It's things like letting yourself stay in bed when you're tired and not feel guilty about it. It's stepping outside and going for a walk in the sunshine when you just need a shift of perspective because the house is driving you crazy. It's sitting in the driveway and finishing your audio story while dinner waits. It can wait another 5 minutes. It's giving yourself a little bit here and there, which then begins to build. Then you start to trust. Your body starts to trust. And something subtle will start to happen. You will eventually realize that you don't have to believe everything your brain tells you, especially when your brain is being mean. And you will start to see that your body is not actually withholding pleasure as a punishment. It's offering information. And it's usually really, really quiet. And that's what I mean when I say listening to your body is a revolutionary act. It's disrupting the system, your internal system, which then builds resilience so you can do things to disrupt other systems if that's what your jam is. Ultimately, it will help every aspect in your life, from the breakfast table to the boardroom to the bedroom. And I know that's a cliche, but it's really true. So I am begging of you, don't wait for your body to get loud. Start listening now because we need you. If you can start tuning into the tiny signals, let that lead you towards feeling good, let that momentum build, it will eventually change your whole life. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in March, using that desire, that pleasure, that permission to build your confidence, to take you places that you want to be. I'm not great with specifics, but it turns out I'm speaking March 17th at 11 a.m. So please, please join me. I can't wait to talk more.
Gwen, thank you so much. And, I appreciate the transparency, and you really shared your truth and also spoke about some things that perhaps women would ordinarily find hard to speak about. And that's why I really appreciate, that you ladies trust the space to do that. And by doing so, you also open invitation for others to raise their hand and maybe come forward to share their stories and, what's numbing them or how they're not feeling the pleasure. And so I think there's a lot of conversations that we as women are conditioned to almost shove it under the rug and never speak about and just pretend like we're enjoying it. But I love that you bring these conversations to life.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, I really feel that leading by example is the best. And so I only teach things that I've actually been through. So,
yeah. What can ladies expect during your talk at the Women Thrive Summit?
More of that, what I just talked about, and then how to parlay that and really build on how to find your desire and how to transmute that into everything about yourself in terms of what it is that you like and how that creates confidence and how it creates presence and it will get you the things that you want. Strangely
Mm.
enough, it's the exact opposite of what we're taught.
Hey, I think this is why we at Women Thrive, we're ready to rewrite and I was going to say rewrite the rules, or maybe burn the box with the rules and rewrite them. Gwen, where can people find you?
I am Sex Fairy Gwyn on all the sites. Us.com is the best for the information there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Gwen. I'm not sure whether we lost you there just for a second with internet, but do drop your information in the chat. So this was Gwen Isaacs. So do make sure you connect with her. I would love to move on to our next speaker. And if you're still here, drop a 1 in the comments below. Let us know where in the world you're watching from if you haven't shared yet. My next guest is Mikkel Dent, who is a therapist and transformational mindset expert dedicated to helping women unmask, heal, and step into their most powerful selves. As the founder and CEO of Glow 414 Inc., and the creator of Boss Fly Girl movement, Mikkel has built a reputation for turning pain into purpose and survival into strategy. I'm excited to have you here, Mikkel. How are you?
Hello, I am good now. Technology was trying to technology, but we're on. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, maybe just move a tiny bit closer towards your microphone, if that's okay. Really excited to hear from you today. What I'm going to do is going to pass over the spotlight to you, and then I'll come back at the end to have a little chit chat.
Thank you. Woo, what a day. I am so blessed to be here. But I know I'm speaking to a group of women. So, what I want you to start doing now is, as that little girl, I just want you to take a moment and imagine. Imagine how life was when you were just a little girl. Maybe it was you writing in a coloring book, coloring in that coloring book. Maybe it was you watching the cars go by. And maybe if you're anything like me and how I grew up, yelling out, bingo, no takeaway, for every car that you imagined and dreamed that one day you will be riding in that. Or maybe when you took long rides with your parents or a family member. And if you're anything like me, maybe it was during the time you will go down south to the family reunions and you'll just see the grass and imagine how free life will be if you can just escape your war zone. Imagine looking at the big, beautiful houses when visiting Lake Michigan for the 4th of July and just imagining one day that would be my dream as well. But then remember the days going by and reality seeping in, and you are forced to realize of your reality. And then you're taught and you're handed a mask to tell you that everything that you dreamed of once as a little girl does not exist anymore. And that's when your brain starts shifting and transforming and conforming to not what you know to be true deep inside because you saw it when you was a little girl, but it conforms to what society says you're supposed to be. It conforms to say you're supposed to be a drug dealer because that's all you see. You're supposed to be a teen mom because that's all you see. You're supposed to just settle for welfare because that's all you know. How dare you dream of coloring in a coloring book and being free? How dare you say bingo, no takeaway for that car that you believe to be yours? And then you conform. And as the days go by, your imagination gets to begin to fade away. And then you become what they say you are. And then you become what they say you're supposed to be. And in that moment, you don't remember anymore. But then at your lowest of your lowest, and if you're anything like me, if you're a servant and even in them darkest moments, you always saw the light. There's something inside of you that knew this cannot be it. This cannot be my life. That was me at my lowest. It never felt good. When you're not in alignment, it doesn't feel good. Something just wasn't right. So when I decided to still give back, because if you're a light, even in your darkness, you still want to share light. I remember praying to get up out of that. I remember to pray to how do I help people on another level to understand this can't be it. So I decided to go to therapy. I decided to start healing. I decided to do the internal work. And through that transformation, I realized that what I once dreamed was a reality for the later version of me, this version of me. And now I do sit here as a therapist. Now I do sit here as a transformational coach. Now I do sit here as a survival of what they said I was not going to be able to survive. Where I grew up, 53206, we are told we're going to be dead or in jail before we hit age 21. I am working with youth right now who is praying that they only make it to see the year of 17. But I am here now to help women transform. So I don't care about the title. I don't care about the doctorate degree. I care about my purpose and my calling. And that is to help women understand you don't have to stay stuck in survival mode. You can take that survival mode and turn it into a strategy to success. I know because I've lived it, I studied it, and I transformed through it. So now I am here and I'm positioned to meet women on in March at the Women Thrive to teach them how do you too transform so you don't go cry when the doors close at night because you once imagined. So join me on March 19th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at Women's Thrive so I can teach you the tools that I didn't just learn in school, but I learned by implementing them in my own life. And if I came through from 53206, I am here to tell you if this little Black girl can make it out of a war zone, you can too. But sometimes that war zone is your mind. Thank you.
Mic drop, Mikhail. And when they say, I was not supposed to be here, I was not supposed to be here. And here you are, you defied the odds and you rose above it and you found a way through. And that's what I meant when I started this conversation today. It's like some women have gone through hell and back and they're here to tell their story that, look, they're still here. And I say that, we don't know how strong we are until our backs are pushed against the wall. And your back has been pushed firmly against the wall, but you're here. You're here to tell your story, but you're here to also inspire others and tell them you don't have to believe that. You don't have to give in to what people believe that you could be or you couldn't be.
Yes.
And you create your own lane. So, Mikhail, I am excited to have you on the Women Thrive Summit.
Yes, you don't have to be that. Who told you that? And who said you got to believe them after they told you that? That's what it's about.
Yes. I look at you, I look at your strength and it reminds me of the strength that every woman has within her. That maybe she doesn't believe or she doesn't know how much strength she has to fight, to keep getting up and to keep defying the odds. So I just want to say thank you for being here and being brave to share your story, your message, and defying the odds along the way.
Thank you so much for having me. Just like my shirt says, you were not born to pretend. They lied to us. It is time for us to unmask and become. You were not going crazy when you imagined those things as you were a
Yeah.
little. Society just tricked you and told you you didn't deserve it and you didn't belong. We just have to reprogram our
Wow.
brain.
Wow. Wow. Who do you want to most impact and why with
I
your
want to
message?
thank you. I want to mostly impact the women of the world who may not even realize they're wearing a mask. Someone spoke earlier about imposter syndrome. Those are the ones I want to impact because I want them to have an aha moment to know that sometimes we say, oh, it's the enemy, but sometimes we are our worst enemy. Sometimes it's time for us to dig deep down inside and reprogram our thinking. So the women that I
Mm.
wanted to is the women that appears to arrive because they saw that. But when they close that door at night, they can't see it. The ones who cry in the mirror because they just can't imagine what the world sees them as. The women who know that it's something inside of them and they settle for things and they don't have a sense of belonging because they know deep down inside they no longer belong there. And women
Mm.
who know that they deserve a certain type of lifestyle, but they can't just grasp their hands around it because if it's not one thing, it's the other. I want them to know that the one thing and the other is just you. It is you
Mm.
against you. Those are the women that I want to impact.
You know, when they say, but it's not for women like me, you know, that level of success is just not for women like me, or we constantly kind of don't give us the chance. We don't give ourselves the chance to dream bigger, to aim higher, because we have been conditioned, or society has suppressed us down, right? Who are you to step out the line? You know, who are you to desire that or create this life? But who are you not? Why wouldn't you? Right?
Yeah.
And I think it requires women like yourself and women that are showing up in this environment and many other spaces to be the trailblazers, to lead the way, to show that, look, it is possible. You know, you can do it. You can publish a book. You can be a speaker. You can be doing that. You can travel the world. You can create a lifestyle that you want. And to show what's possible, because without us doing it and showing up, those little girls may never believe what's possible.
No,
So
they
I
won't.
believe it lies with us. That responsibility lies with us to pave the way. And I think that's why this is what we do within Women Thrive, is making sure that every woman has a message and has a voice within this platform to say, here is my story. I didn't come from riches. I didn't come from a place that believed in me or raised me to be the woman that I am today, but here I am.
Yes.
You know, and that's what I see. Cal, I'm excited to have you on the summit. And
Much
where can
for
people
that.
find you?
That is so amazing, Ray. Thank you so much because that is what it is. And it's not always easy in being the first one. But
Yeah.
again, my ceiling will be the floor of those who will that's gonna come after me. I will be the brave that raises my hand and say I will go first. People can find me at therapistmickeld.com. Therapist Mickell, MICKELLD.com. And there you can follow me on the therapist side or you can follow me on the transformational coach side.
Amazing. What is your favorite social media platform where you hang out?
My favorite social media platform right now is Instagram. It used to be
Yeah.
Facebook, but I realized Facebook has a lot of my people back at home from where I'm from. Shout out to Milwaukee. And I'm like, there's no growth there. Like, I have to plant myself somewhere else because I know this light is supposed to shine amongst the world. So, Instagram, you can find me at therapist_MickellD. So, therapist_MickellD on Instagram. I'll be doing a little something. Right.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're going to be sharing your message on the Women Thrive Summit and impacting the women, helping them believe that there is so much more out there for them. Thank you so much, Cal. Celebrating you and great to have you here today. Thank you. Ooh, this was Mickell Dent. And if you're feeling fired up, go and find and stalk our speakers, connect with them and see what they're up to, have that conversation. Maybe somebody has spoken to you in your heart today. Go and find them. Go and drop into their DMs. My next wonderful speaker is Janine Emily Smith, who is a globally recognized speaker, international best-selling author, award-winning songwriter, and co-host of a national TV show, Rockstar Diaries, Healing Out Loud. She's also the host of the Rise and Roar with a Badass Lioness podcast, and she empowers women to rise, revive, and thrive by turning their stories into superpowers. Janine, welcome.
Hello! How are you, Ray?
I'm excited. I'm fired up. You know, probably can tell because
Yes.
the lineup today has been amazing, and we're not stopping there.
I am on fire. Mikkel, you are on fire, girl. I loved what she said about if this girl from the war zone can do it, so can you. Oh my goodness. She needs to be on my show, and so do you. I love you guys. I'm so fired up.
Oh, Janine, I'm going to hand over the mic over to you, and I'll be back at the end.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I thought about what I was going to talk about today, and I just feel compelled to talk about taking our story to a leadership and healthy level versus catharsis. Uh, Healing that trauma was within. Mikkel talked about the war zones. A lot of us have those war zones deep down inside that are so well hidden that we can't even get to them. Before I start, I'm hoping that you could do me a favor. Check in with your body. Really check in. How do you feel? Are you fired up? Are you calm? Are you ready to run? Are you hyper energized or anxious? Right now, you are evaluating me by my tone, my voice, and the way I show up, my presence. And trust me, I don't take it personally because people are doing the same to you every time you show up. Did you know that our subconscious level tells you how you're going to feel and how you're going to show up 7 seconds before your actual conscious mind? So I work with high achieving clients that, on the outside, they have it all, but they still feel lost. They feel like something's missing. They're not happy or thriving. And they do. They wonder, is there more? And they've come to me for help, wondering also why they're not more effective on their stages. And when I say stages, our stage could be church, it could be a podcast, TV, the corporate stage, a book. And do you see, many of us have experienced some of that pain or trauma. I just want to share a little bit about myself because for a long time in my life, I believed that strength meant silence. I was speaking on corporate stages. I was also giving my testimony in church, some jail ministry. I really learned how to hide my pain, my grief. I hid the truth about myself. So little truth about myself. When I was 15, my dad was killed, and the circumstances behind that were pretty dang scary. I won't go into detail, but it broke me. And I carried that loss quietly like a secret that was mine alone. I showed up, I functioned, I carried the load for my mom. See, I was the eldest daughter of 6, but inside, something was bracing. I was always on guard. Another kind of hiding. It's that kind that comes after assault. I didn't just hide what happened. I hid myself, and I didn't feel safe. And here's what no one tells you about trauma. It doesn't stay in your story. It lives in your nervous system. So when I was saying, I'm doing fine, I was actually on hyper alert. I was always on the edge, over functioning, just always prepared for impact. And trust me, that shows up everywhere with you. If your nervous system isn't calm, you don't just feel it, you broadcast it, sister. You show up that way on stage, at your job, in your relationships. You may be speaking clearly, but people feel that tension. You may be accomplished, but you're not fully present. You may lead, but something feels guarded. So for a long time, I did feel that catharsis was enough. If I cried enough, if I told my story enough, if I pushed through, like I said, I first started speaking in jails and churches. And I have to tell you, a lot of people would come up to me afterwards and they say, "Oh, Janine, I'm so sorry that happened to you." Instead of what I wanted to hear, which was, "Janine, that story, your story changed my life." So catharsis without regulation, it's not enough. Okay. And We hold the room when we have healed ourselves. See, true leadership isn't about having it all. It's about having that courage to go inward so you don't bleed outward. Please know your trauma, your story does not disqualify you from leadership. It initiates you into it. When you heal your nervous system, you don't just feel better. You become more trustworthy, more grounded, more magnetic. So, sister, if you're carrying something unspoken, something that no one should have had to have experienced, if you're leading while being braced, I don't want you to relive this pain, but I want you to rise up, to integrate it in a safe and healthy way. And that's what I do. So here's my invitation to you. Just say, step away from your old identity that's holding you back. What if you could show up as your best version? Step into your badass self. My invitation is I am speaking at the Women Thrive Conference on Monday, 10 a.m. Central, 11 Eastern, and I plan to go over my signature RISE program that has been helping clients for years. I take my clients from backstage to center stage in your life and on your stage. So RISE, the R stands for reconnecting to yourself and shedding the old survival identity, reclaiming your voice. I is for integrating, I can't talk today, all those pieces of you, and knowing that your traumatic events, they don't disqualify you. They don't make you less. They are your superpower to help others. S, of course, is all about storytelling, the power of telling your story, but not in that catharsis mode. And E, after you've done that internal healing and transformation, you are empowered from the inside out to truly make a difference in all aspects of your life. Because when your nervous system is calm, your presence speaks louder than your words. You can show up authentically yourself and you can offer a wider, bigger impact. And when you lead from that safe place, people don't just hear you, they lean in. They want to know all of it. You don't have to do this alone. My world changed, to be honest, when I stopped doing it in my cave and sought out a mentor and coaching. And then I was able to soar like an eagle and roar like a badass lioness. I want you to be that badass lioness. I want to hear your story. Join us at the Women Live Summit.
Absolutely, we'll be there thriving and lighting the fires. But Janine, thank you for sharing that. We talk a lot about healing and the power of transformation, but I love that you brought up this conversation about the way we show up as a result of trauma and the way we show up
Yes.
as a result of healing, and the two distinct ways that we show up. People won't be transformed if you keep showing up from trauma.
Mhm, mhm.
And that's the whole purpose of the work. And I love that you take people from, what you call from backstage to center stage. Because I think when you go through that healing journey and you find your voice, what becomes really your passion is to share it with others and pass on that message and impact others.
Yes.
And I think you're doing the great work that you're doing to help others.
Oh, thank you. Sure appreciate that. Yes, I remember being backstage for so many years. I'm also a singer and performer, and I would be backstage at my favorite artists and thinking, one day I'm going to do that. One day. Well, one day
Yeah.
can come and go. If you don't take that step today and step into your true power and go from behind the curtain to your center stage, however you need to do it, truly, the days go by and time doesn't stop.
Yeah. Healing takes courage. Healing is a
Mhm.
scary place because
It
we've got to
is.
face ourselves. We have to
Yes.
face our traumas, our pain.
Yes.
But what's on the other side?
Exactly. And who's that one lady out there that absolutely needs to hear your story today that would
Mm.
change her life? You just don't know. You don't know who's out there and who needs your story, your impact.
Yeah. You may see yourself and you may not even what I'm looking for right now in the magazine, because I know you have a feature. I just can't remember which month we're in. But you may not even recognize yourself after you've done the healing work. What happens is you can't even recognize yourself because you've gone through such a deep transformation. And
Yeah.
when I see a woman who's healed, who's empowered, she just radiates this magnetic energy that you can't ignore. You just can't miss it. So
Exactly.
I totally know that it's worth it going there and doing the
Yes.
healing work because it's going
Yes.
to transform you.
Agreed. And you bring that presence. I wanted to tell you that ahead of time. The presence that I talked about, where
Yeah.
you're fully there, you're listening, you could just see it in your eyes, in your heart, your spirit. It really radiates through. And each of the speakers today,
Yeah.
I just love it. I want to cry because it radiates through them that they truly care, and you've done a good job selecting the speakers for this conference because we really do care. We're not there for ourselves.
Yeah. It's magical. Honestly, it's a magical feeling from the inside. And thank you for reflecting that back. It's a magical feeling to feel connected because trauma has a way of disconnecting us from our feelings, from others, from purpose.
Yeah.
And we kind of hide behind a curtain. And I remember the moment when I shaved my hair off.
Yeah.
And I looked in the mirror and I was like, wow, like, hello there. Like,
Yeah.
it was like
Hello.
has been drawn up. And I was like, oh.
I love that. Oh my goodness.
Because I've gone through a long healing journey, and that's the difference between hiding and not seeing yourself in a mirror. And for the first time, truly seeing yourself, like you've taken off your hair and there's nowhere to hide. And you see yourself and you're like, oh,
It's true.
you don't need any of those things to hide who you are. You can
Yeah.
just be your true, authentic self and be enough and feel enough.
Yeah.
And that moment, like, I want every woman to feel and experience that moment where she can just look at herself in a mirror with love,
Yeah.
with pure love.
Yeah.
That's just everything.
Do you remember that song, Don't Hide Behind Your Hair?
No,
I believe
don't
it's Tom Petty wrote it, I believe, and Stevie Nicks sang it. But yeah, it made me think about that. Don't hide behind your hair.
Oh, you gotta send me that song. I need it. Janine, you wrote your own song that you're gonna play at the Women Thrive Summit at your talk. I'm very excited to hear what that is.
Yes, I'm excited as well. I mean, everybody needs an anthem song. Everybody. And as songwriters, we're able to do that. Not, I feel blessed that we could do that, but we also write for others, their custom anthems. So my husband and I, we're a duo.
Amazing. Well, where can people find you?
Well, at badasslioness.com. So it's BADDASS, lioness.com. I'm on all social medias. You asked the other gal who the favorite. I'm with her on, it used to be Facebook, and you can find me Janine Emily, GININE EMILY, but I'm kind of transitioning over to Instagram, but I'm also on LinkedIn as Janine Smith.
Amazing. Well, just go and stalk our speakers and connect with them and drop into the DM and say, hey, I need a bit of this light and fire that you've got for me. So go and connect with them.
Yes, please do.
Virtuve. Oh my gosh, live. My mom, she's like, I gotta know. I'm like, I'm live.
I was hoping I'd get a sneak peek of the baby, but that's okay.
She was just as you were on. She was just here getting some mama love. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Janine. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you at the Women Thrive Summit.
Thank
And
you so much.
see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Oh my God, we're more than halfway through. And if you're still here, please leave a comment below. Let us know where you're joining us from. And if you have shared this live already with your audience, then just encourage them to be here and watch it, because we need to reach so many more women. And you'll meet our speakers that you have already heard, and you will be hearing from for the rest of today. You're going to be able to meet them virtually at the Women Thrive Summit between the 16th to the 20th of March. So please, please, please go ahead and register at womenthrivesummit.com and share it with somebody else, because we want to reach as many women from different parts of the world. And as you've heard today, we're here to share our raw, authentic stories and help you get connected to yourself, to your purpose, to your vision, grow your confidence, and really thrive in your business as well as life. So we're going to have diverse topics as well as speakers from various backgrounds, stories, experiences, and you're going to be there to truly experience it. So if you're watching this right now, go ahead and save your spot and do make sure you share it with somebody else. Now, I want to introduce my next wonderful speaker. I'm very excited to have here and also have her speaking at the Women Thrive Summit. My next speaker is Neo Cairo. She is an award-winning author, speaker, strategic advisor, and healthcare executive with over 30 years of leadership experience. Named as one of the top 25 innovators by Modern Healthcare, Neo has led multi-million-dollar initiatives and launched innovative service lines with mentoring leaders to thrive in challenging environments. She's also authored multiple books as well as Volume 4 Women Thrive book. And I have something right here with me, which I'm really proud to show off. She was on the cover. She is a cover girl of our October Women Thrive magazine. Neo, so great to see you. Welcome.
Oh, what a pleasure. What an incredible showcase. And what is thread? It's almost as a magical thread is coming through this showcase that we're talking about presence, that we're talking about understanding that we are more than our trauma, that we are more than what others see. And I am so excited to get this opportunity to share.
Yeah, I saw you smiling and nodding in the green room as we were talking with Janine, and it's because I know your story, of course, because we got the opportunity to, support you through writing your story in the Women Thrive book, and of course, spent a lot of time together. The healing part, you've gone through that, and it set you on a completely new path in your work, in your purpose, in your mission. Just before we jump on, what was going through your head as we were talking about that healing part with Janine?
When people speak about healing, what they don't understand is that you are going through your darkest space when you are healing, because everything in you wants to be on the other side of the heal, but your body is not letting you get there quickly, because everything is a process. And I remember being 30 years old and having not only a cardiac arrest, but also a major stroke, and having to learn how to speak again, how to walk again, and being a mother through that process, and having time with my child, and he's saying, "No, mommy, this is the way you hold the fork." So healing is about being humble and being open to what's going to happen in your life. I am just so excited about the fact that we're going to share with women that they are enough and they are able to transform themselves into
Yeah.
just anything they want to be.
Wow. Oh, okay. I will hand over the mic to you because I love when you share and when you speak. And I'll be back at the end to have a conversation with you.
Absolutely. Hello, ladies. And as we spoke a few minutes ago about how this has been a storyline about the masks that we wear. And I'd like you to take you to a room that many of you that are in corporate are well aware of. You know, it's the January annual service line performance meeting that you talk about the year in the past and you talk about your forecast. And I remember walking into it as a new vice president and being surrounded with senior leaders, being surrounded by board members, and having the perfect slides, the perfect outfit, perfect hair, makeup, and also the mask that I was told that I had to wear. I went in there and I spoke about optimization, transformation, best in class performance. I referenced AI, the enablement of workflows, the advanced analytics and digital transformation. My metrics were impeccable. Everything was flawless delivery. But the applause were low. I remember the CEO saying to me, anything else? And I said, no, this is it. Thank you. Any questions? There were no questions. And as I walked to my seat, my mask started to fall. And I realized that I wasn't in that room. I was performing the script that I was told I was supposed to perform. I was using the vanity words that I was told were professional and they were to be said. But you see, as leaders, we only get to a certain type of level before we actually influence and transform. And I realized in that moment that I had no presence and I had no impact. You see, I didn't have the presence to rally the room, to be excited on how I was going to, with my team, help them get to their goals. Because a true leader is about elevating others and using their talents and their team's talents to bring the whole team to a better place. But my presence was about performance. All I was doing was talking about performance. And we need to overcome performance and move into presence. And presence comes with impact. And I started thinking about what that word means and how we can transform ourselves with that word. And I thought of the I, and it's using intentional language. Speaking from a place that when I say it, I can leave the room and I still have resignation of my words in the other people that heard them because they know I will live up to those words. And when I speak of measurable outcomes, that they are outcomes that created opportunities and that people know that those outcomes will help them forge their path forward. And personal ownership in that P. That my authentic voice, that I am accountable for myself, not for how someone else says I should be, but how I know I am. Action-oriented delivery, clear next step, be in full clarity, consistency in my presence, that I am reliable and I am who I am. No need to act like someone else. And most important, transformational follow-through in everything I do. That is my framework for impact. But most importantly, It's about substance over seasonality, over being trendy, presence over performance, action over admiration. In my speech at the Women Thrive Summit on March 20th at 11 a.m., we're going to talk about how we need to move away from that script that others have for us. Join me if this resonated with you.
Thank you. I love when you speak. You speak with so much precision and passion for what you have to share. And you shared something about leaders have the capacity to hold space for others, leaders who have healed through their own journeys. And it's it's refreshing to hear how you speak about leadership, because I think you take it from a completely different lens than what most people talk about when it comes to leadership. And that's what I really love, especially for women. And in today's world, I think it's really important to understand leadership from a different perspective that I think you bring to any stages where you speak about it.
One of the things that women need to understand is your talent and performance will only take you to a certain level. True leadership is influence, is the ability to actually get people to see influence that they trust, that you are going to help them be the best that they can be, whether they're a client or whether they are your subordinate. It doesn't matter. Leadership is about service, and the service is elevation of others. So when we start taking off our mask and walking in our true self, then we can make impact happen, and then we can influence the room. And let me tell you, when you walk in with that outfit, with that self-confidence, and that knowledge that I am consistently me, there's nothing you can't do.
Yeah. Tell me about the work that you do. Who do you work with? I know you work with women in leadership positions, but just give me an idea of the kind of work that you do.
It's our business is an interesting business because I work with Fortune 500 companies, and I help teams actually understand innovation and AI, and I help them create their strategy for AI. But more importantly, I teach them how to become critical thinkers and how to teach their teams to adopt AI as a partner for excellence, not as a enemy of their position. So we do a great deal of that. But then I get the joy of also working with board members and working with executive leaders on understanding who they are in their self-identity so that they can be true leaders for their people and also create an ecosystem of continuous growth.
Wow, that's really powerful. And I love being in your presence because you always got some real wisdom, nuggets of inspiration to share from your experiences. So we've got to hang out in Valencia last year, which was beautiful. And hopefully we'll get to see each other again. And I have something else in my hands, Neo. I got the Women Thrive special edition March issue of last year, and there you are, right next to
Right
me,
next to you.
white suit. What is that experience like, being in all women community? Because I know you work a lot in the corporate, you work with male leaders, but what is it like to kind of be in this women's space as a contrast to other spaces you've been in?
It's really interesting because Women Thrive opened my eyes to the power of women in the collective and how I cannot express the gratitude I have for the growth I've had as a woman being part of Women Thrive. And when we collectively wrote the book, version 4 of that book, it was a true growth experience for every single woman that is a part of that book. We are all interconnected. We still talk to each other. We rally for each other. We raise each other up. And something that's really funny, I was in Dubai last month, and I was getting an award for business excellence, global business excellence. And I had all of my books out. The number one book that sold in 1 hour was Woman Thrive version 4. And the reason it sold was this room, and it was a mixed conference. It was a very large conference, mixed conference, but all the women, when they saw Woman Thrive, they were so excited about hearing stories, real stories about women that opened their hearts and their life to tell their story about overcoming what we live in our shadows. And literally, it was, I have had to mail books to the Philippines. I had to mail 2 to China because they were like, I want it, and I want it signed by you. So I mailed the books after coming back from Dubai. So, ladies, this is beyond the power. Yes, I get to the honor to speak in the summit March 20th at 11 a.m., but don't miss any days of the summit. If you can get a VIP ticket and really engage, please do so, because this is transformative. And this is your time in 2026 to shed the pain and walk into your essence.
There's nothing else to add, Neo. Thank you for sharing that experience and that story. I've never got to actually hear about that. What you told me, you texted me like the book's just gone, but we never actually get to hear. We never got to hear what happened. So thank you for sharing that and for being here to do the work that you do. Where people can connect with you.
My number one place that I ask you to connect is on LinkedIn, neoqueiro.com. Neo Queiro on LinkedIn, NIOQUEIRO. On a daily basis, I provide Joy Notes. And Joy Notes is a leadership blog that gives you great insights and exercises so that you can expand your leadership journey. Also, have a wonderful newsletter. And please join our Substack. And of course, you can reach me on Instagram and Facebook. Everything is under Neo Queiro. And just know that, more importantly, please come to the summit. That's what's going to happen. And keep the conversation going.
Yeah, Neo, I can't wait to have you at the summit. I can't wait to see what you're going to share. And for now, thank you so much for being here on our stage and part of our community, inspiring us with your beautiful stories and inspiration.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. That was Neo Queiro, and grab the copy of October issue of the Women Thrive magazine. She looks absolutely gorgeous on this cover. And of course, she shared her beautiful story in the Women Thrive Volume 4 book. We have now released 4 books, and I'm really, really proud of supporting authors in a lot of the times for the first time, sharing their stories with the world. And that's what we got to do with Neo and many other speakers and authors. Okay, who's ready for our next speaker? We only got a little bit to go. So if you've been here since very beginning, I just want to say thank you for your time, because that is an invaluable asset to dedicate to an event like this. But like Neo said, don't waste your time by missing the opportunity. Don't miss the opportunity to be there in the virtual room March 16th to the 20th, because we are bringing a lot of amazing speakers and a lot of gems, transformation, opportunities, connections. This is where your life is going to be changed. I promise you, because I witnessed that year in and year out, and you've got to be there. Okay, my next speaker is Chanel Botswain. Dr. Chanel Botswain is an educator, master facilitator, and leadership development scholar dedicated to supporting and sustaining success of Black women leaders. She is the founder of CSB Consulting Services, where she partners with academic institutions to advance institutional transformation and disrupt isolation, burnout, and attrition among women of color in leadership. Hi, Chanel. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. Honored to be in the lineup. This has all been so informative already.
Amazing. Where are you joining from?
I'm joining from the eastern seaboard of the United States, home to the Philly Eagles, Philadelphia.
Amazing. Love your background, colorful, and it speaks volumes. But I can't wait to hear what you have to share today. So I will take myself off a stage and I'll be back at the end.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity to be part of Women Thrive. Again, such an honor and privilege. I'd love to talk to you ladies today about the power of a witness. I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. In the American court system, these are the words a witness says when they prepare to share their observation. A witness, a person who speaks on behalf of another, whose reality may otherwise be unseen or unbelieved except for the word, the observation of that witness. A witness is someone who sees what is happening, believes what they see, and stays present long enough to testify to the truth of that experience. Black women leaders and women of color who dare to lead experience the complex dichotomy of being hypervisible and invisible. Despite being in plain sight and easily observable, much of what they experience, kind of like what you heard Neo describing just now, much of what they experience and the reality of their experience as leaders goes unseen, not understood, and not believed. This is why I believe women of color who lead need a witness. My name again is Dr. Chanel S. Botswain. I am the founder of CSB Consulting Services and the host of the Thriving Together Network, and I support women of color leaders to thrive by leveraging affirming communities that promote wholeness and wellness that is equal to their ambition. And I want to share a little bit of my own experience of hypervisibility and invisibility. For almost a decade, I served as a K-12 school leader. And in that role, one of my responsibilities was public speaking. I gave speeches multiple times a week, leading assemblies, parent meetings, student celebration ceremonies. So it was quite alarming and disorienting when only a few months into my advancement in education leadership into academia by pursuing a doctor of education, I found myself devolving in a silencing spiral from being a decisive leader with command of a room to a woman who second-guessed her every thought. Every time a conversation came around, a lively debate, a review of scholarship, it seemed that my voice moved further and further away. Did I have something to say? Of course I did. I had been evaluating and examining the challenges and opportunities around equity and access and opportunities for children for more than a decade. But when the conversation turned to me, I'd anxiously evaluate my thoughts, revise my ideas, and hesitate to say ultimately nothing. Pause became self-doubt, self-doubt became self-questioning, self-questioning became questioning my value became questioning my place. And I began to say to myself and wonder, I must not be the leader I thought I was. My confirmation came at the end of the first year of moving toward becoming a doctor of education when I failed a benchmark exam essay. And at that moment, the signal was clear. You have no place here. This experience of silencing was not happening, though, just in the privacy of my thoughts. It was happening in open air in the presence of many people. So at the same time that I was having that experience, I was in the process of forming new friendships, nurturing new relationships. I was advising undergraduate students. I founded and facilitated a professional learning community. I even taught fitness classes a couple days a week. My silence existed in plain sight. It turns out this experience is not uncommon for women who lead, as maybe you are reflecting on your own experience. But this type of experience is particularly punctuated for women of color. You see, we lead in spaces that are not built with us in mind. We are often in conference rooms where we are the first and only to occupy our position. We are rarely reflected in the spaces that we lead and fight for. And we carry the hope of our communities and their advancement on our backs. We feel the pressure to be powerful and effective representatives. Even in times like this, where words like equity and justice are kind of dirty words, many corporations and academic institutions are celebrating their success in positioning women of color as leaders. But what often is missed is the way the conditions that surround the brilliance and competence that women of color bring to their leadership is a reality that is both visible and invisible, leaving many women of color who lead to feel, as I did, exposed and not seen. And so this is the reality of leadership that needs a witness. Women of color who dare to lead need a witness. A witness, again, is someone who sees what is happening, believes what they see, and stays present long enough to testify to the truth of that experience. So if you're a woman of color who leads, let me just remind you, you do not need more talent. You do not need more resilience. You don't need to work any harder. You need an affirming eye and affirming ears that can hold your reality with you. And if you're the leader of an institution that benefits from women of color leaders, and you're invested in protecting and retaining those leaders, it's time to consider who is witnessing the realities of their leadership. It should not be the experience of leaders of any caliber, particularly for women of color who lead, to be strong enough to endure, but rather to be supported enough to be seen. If this is something that resonates for you, the conversation is just getting started. I would love to continue talking with you. So please find me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Again, Chanel S. Boatswain, or you can find me on Instagram. I love Instagram too. DRCS Boatswain, Dr. CS Boatswain, and join me at Women Thrive. By now, I know you're coming. So please join me at the Women Thrive Summit. I'll be speaking January 20th at 2 p.m. and this conversation will continue.
Yes, it does. Yes, it needs to continue. Chanel, thank you so much for sharing your story, bringing to awareness of your experience and perhaps what many other leaders and women of color are experiencing, but may not have the voice to share it or may not have the opportunity to speak about it. And I think it's important. That's why spaces like this exist. So we can have those conversations, so we can bring to the light of what needs to be said and what needs to be done. So what do you think could be the solution? I won't say is, because in today's age, I think it's a lot very complicated. But what do you think could be the solution? And how can women better navigate situations like that?
Well, one access point that I promote and support in my work is bringing women into community with one another. It is almost a taken for granted resource that whether it's formal affinity groups or whether they're sister circles, maybe that are more informal, but in leadership, the work of leadership is isolating and it calls for us to do a lot of independent decision making. And because we hold a lot of information, sometimes that is confidential or proprietary, it can be difficult for us to find points of connection. And so this is where the power of witness, I think, really just resonates. And so I encourage folks and I help folks to find other people who are leading in spaces like themselves, to be able to be in places where they can be seen, heard, and understood without having to explain themselves, and certainly without having to carry, as we've heard from multiple speakers today, that mask or that cover up. But really being able to have moments of authenticity where they can be affirmed and understood.
Yeah. It's almost like a feeling of being gaslighted, it's like is it just me? Like, or am I being ignored, right? Is it just me that my voice is not being heard, right? It's just you start to question yourself, as you say, and that's not a healthy place to be because you have something important to share and you have a lot of value to bring, but being overlooked and underestimated, I think it's, I don't know, because, I'm not experiencing those things. So I cannot say that I know what it feels like, even though I am a woman. And that's where having those conversations and bringing awareness is so important, to let others know what it's like, to let others know what you're experiencing and have those open conversations. So thank you for being here. What can women expect at the Women Thrive Summit during your talk?
Yes, like I said, this conversation is just getting started. And what I'm excited to add to this conversation is what it looks like to cultivate that witness space or witness oriented connections for yourself. Sometimes when women get together, they're not sure that they can be held or that the people who are with them will be able to hold the experiences that they have. And so I'm excited to add that to our conversation as we continue to talk about what it looks like for us to thrive as women.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm excited because through our platform, through our stages, it has been so empowering, supportive, and healing for women to have that safe space to connect with others like themselves, and also to have these conversations that are so important, so needed, so they can realize they're not alone. They're not going crazy, imagining things, and actually, there's other people who are having the same experiences. So we as women need to have more of those conversations. Chanel, where can people find you?
Yes, you can find me on most of the socials: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Search my name or Dr. C.S. Boatswain. And I'm so excited to be in touch and to continue connecting.
Amazing. Thank you for being here. I look forward to having
Thank you so
you
much for
at the
having
Women
me.
Thrive Summit.
I'll see.
Thank you. Amazing. We are moving on to our next speaker. Only a few more to go. We were doing so well, and we were doing so well on timing, but we slipped somewhere. And never mind, we're going to catch up. So my next speaker is Jeanette Lowry, who is a recurring income and transformation expert who helps women pivot from employee to a home-based entrepreneur. Her entrepreneurial journey began in 1990 as what she calls an accidental entrepreneur. After unexpected divorce left her a single mom of two, the recurring income she has built became the blessing that allowed her to stay home and raise her children full-time while creating a life on her own terms. Jeanette Lowry, welcome to the stage. Great to have you here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Jeanette. How are you?
I can't hear anything.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Okay.
we can hear you.
I am going to get on my phone. I'm going to get on my phone.
All right. What we're going to do is we're going to allow Jeanette to make sure her tech setup is working. And maybe we're going to move on to our next speaker whilst we do that. I can see that. Hold on a second. We might get Jeanette on to the platform. In the meantime, what I want you to do is go over to womenthrivesummit.com. Make sure that you have saved yourself a spot at the upcoming summit that is happening between March 16th to the 20th. And make sure you share it with another woman. So during this 1 week long event, we're going to have live speakers. So you get to connect not only with our speakers, but other attendees. It's going to be held on Zoom. And honestly, the energy is so, so magical. We have music there. We have incredible talks. We've got panels. there is something for everyone. And I think if you do join for one session, you're going to want to stay on for the entirety of the event. I'm going to bring back Jeanette because I could see her in her beautiful pink background.
Back.
No worries about a tech issue. You look fabulous. The camera is even better.
Thank you. Well, I'm on my cell phone because I got a new laptop and figuring out the right camera to use is ridiculous. So I'm not a high-tech person. I hire people to do that for me.
As long as we got internet connection, we can hear you and now we can see you. We are good to
Good.
go. Jeanette, I'll hand over the stage over to you and I'll be back at the end to have a conversation
Okay.
with you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Jeanette Lowry, and thank you for joining. You know, this is a summit upcoming that will have a lot of women sharing a lot of just nuggets, golden nuggets of truth, things that might maneuver and maybe nip you in the side or give you a shove to see the possibilities for yourself. Every one of us who is speaking, teaching, coaching have done the journey. And I think you can tell when people haven't taken the journey themselves of what they are coaching. You know, you can be book smart, but unless you're actively involved in what you're coaching, it comes through as, you know, not being integrous. I am working with women who are burned out. They're sick of the 9 to 5. The climb to the glass ceiling never arrives because things keep getting added to their plate. And these are women who are mid-aged. I'm 64. I'm a young nana of 2 granddaughters and a son 37 and a daughter 30. So I am passionate about getting women home, allowing them to work on their own time, invent their futures themselves, and earn an income they deserve. So let me backtrack a bit. I was introduced to the industry of network marketing at the young age in my 30s, 1990. I had no idea what it was for, what it did. However, I love the product. So if you can find a company with great products and the timing's right, the compensation is there for you, you will understand what leveraged income and leveraged time is all about. Raise your hand if you are somebody that works 9 to 5 and you know you're not going to get paid if you don't show up for work. Allowances for the 2 weeks of vacation time. Wow, in a year. So I call it Journey of the Broke because when you understand working 9 to 5, going back and forth, it's very difficult to put away that money for savings, for your IRA, et cetera, unless you've got a 401k plan. So I find a lot of women, as myself, live through the journey of divorce. If one of the 3 Ds hits you sometime in life, divorce, death of spouse, or a disease, somebody's, suffering with cancer or what have you, you have a choice. You're either going to hang yourself on the wheel that you're currently on, trying to add more hours in the day because you have distractions now. You have other things to pay attention to. When my husband of 16 years told me that he wanted out of the marriage, I had 2 kids. They were 9 and 2. I had built a business for 7 years. Praise the Lord, because that income allowed me to step back, be home, raise my 2 kids through college. And it did not ask me to come back and be effort in the business because the money continued coming in, recurring income. It's not about what I'm doing. It's what I set up. 5 to 7 years is the normal time to set up a big recurring income if you find the right company and you're on a system that teaches you how to work it. So I was retired for 20 years. when COVID hit, I said, you know what? I'm passionate about moms. I'm passionate about women being able to be home with their kiddos, whether they're teenagers, they need us, or they're toddlers, they need us too. So, removing all that mom guilt that we've all suffered from, remove that from your paradigm. You're already always thinking, and think about stepping into the future that you want to design. What would that look like for you? You know, it's really difficult for women, especially if they've not stepped outside that box yet, to start dreaming again. So when I came out of retirement, I decided first I have to understand social media, e-business, the whole thing. So I hired coaches for 3 years, setting up platforms for coaching. I'd already coached to the top level in my first company. This other company, which is wellness directed, which is my happy place, my background is fitness and gymnastics. That was my entire life through college. So I knew I had the coaching experience. I knew I had the passion. So setting up a platform I call my pivot program, Business in a Box, teaches women how to think again with dreams being the forefront, dreaming, getting rid of paradigms that are blocking you. So, all that inside stuff we do. Then the physical body, getting the body back, wow, it raises the temperature of your attitude, your confidence like crazy. Then we go into the business systems, social media, everything about having a home based business, tax write offs, all the stuff. And then wealth creation, the difference between leveraged and linear income. Leveraged income will set you free. If this is something that resonates with you, maybe you're in a time period in your life that you're saying, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's time for me to take care of me. Maybe you're an empty nester. Maybe you've got elderly parents. You have to be home. Maybe you're a new mom, as I was when I started my first business. There is options available. There are options available for all of us. And so I'll be speaking at the summit on a Wednesday, I believe it is. And I'm going to be teaching the Pivot program, how to take linear income to leveraged income in the pockets of your day. You don't start off by saying, I fire my boss. No, we take it small baby steps at a time so that you can start earning as you learn. I thank you for your time. Start dreaming again, ladies. It's time to dream.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. Love your passion for it. And I think every woman needs multiple streams of income and being able to, create that freedom for themselves, which you have done. Jeanette, where can people find you?
You can find me through my website, JeanetteLowry.com. And I'm on LinkedIn. That's my main place of doing my social media. Also, I'm on Instagram, got a YouTube channel, and Facebook. All my name.
Jeanette, we really look forward to seeing you at the Women Thrive Summit. Keep shining your bright light, and I just love what you bring to the stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jeanette Lowry, and thank you all so much for being here with us. I love that you're here hanging out with our community and supporting our stage. My next speaker that I am really excited to bring on board is Marla Sachs, who is a Radiance Reset Mentor, a yogic lifestyle guide, painter, and author of The Radiant Woman Shines, whose creative process is deeply rooted in self-discovery, accessing calm, contentment, illumination through many moment pauses, and shine meditations. Welcome, Marla. So great to have you here today.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. It's a very shiny stage. You just said that with the last speaker, Jeanette, who also spoke of dreams, which is something I'm leading into. But it even started 2 hours ago when I was looking to see what I was wearing. And so all of the topics of conversation today are hitting home base, hitting my heart. And it's just a pleasure and an honor to be on the stage with all these incredible women and to see you.
I told you there is magical thread that weaves our events, and that is definitely the case. Marla, I will be back at the end to have a little conversation with you. So stage is yours.
Wonderful. Hello. Have you ever heard of the sloppy first copy? Or just write it for yourself in a journal, or get the thoughts out of your head and release them, and then refine them before you speak, maybe before you write a book. Have you ever thought of your life as being a little messy, sloppy? Maybe you're just not sure how to get unstuck. And from the speaking opportunities where you can use your voice and elevate a room, you can also elevate yourself. This is part of what drives me into action, into the Radiance movement. From the self-doubt, from the dreams I once had, where my vision was to open an art gallery one day, and I wrote an entire business paper on it, and I wanted to have arts and crafts from people abroad, because my experience of seeing bits of the world and meeting people in different places when I studied abroad opened my eyes to all of these different ideas and shapes and places. So it was a dream, and I then put it all by the wayside. And I got really in that mode of taking care of others, and the motherhood juggle is certainly real, and losing my identity in the process. But when I go to that sloppy first copy, when I think of life as a practice, some of these things came to me when I was on my yoga mat, when I couldn't find what was happening outside, why my body had gone numb, why I didn't feel right, why I was not smiling and I wasn't crying. Something was offbeat. The yoga lifestyle brought me up to an awakened state. And this is where the transformation, where you can glow even if you dip low throughout your day, and you can reinvent yourself and come back to those old passions or find new ones. Passion is what moves us into action. And that's why I've created Radiance Resets, where you can do things throughout your day. For example, I got this little rock. It's like a stone that I found while I was out in the earth and hiking. But whatever it is, I'm holding on to it. And sometimes I just happen to have it with me. So little things that we can do to kind of shift our energy, and just remember that all the things out in nature are inside of us too. So this is a way to shine. And I didn't always think of these things. So the awakening came from things like breath work, where maybe there was these moments I didn't think, and I was suddenly allowed to experience myself in that true radiance. So when we dip low, we can pick ourselves up. And again, when I was younger, it came more natural. It was organic. I liked to dance. I liked to go out with friends and have a good time. And then somewhere along the way, I just lost my mojo. So if this resonates with you, how to bring your light back on, like when you're at your desk, or whether you can create a space where you just have a candle to set the tone. These are the kind of things I love to remind people that you can do. And if you're not able to light a candle, you're in an office space or in an arena that where you can't have that light, you can always have one that is a little like battery operated one. So light yourself up. It comes from things that are outside of us, things that are in nature. Got this gorgeous rose here. Smells so beautiful. So we bring the flowers and something from nature into our space, and we can create this altar of our heart space. And these are the kind of things that can reignite the spark and remind us to trust the ebbs and flows of our life. Moving the body is freedom, and it's my way. It can look different. So I like to say I'm a yoga and meditations lifestyles mentor, a radiance reset mentor. But the question is not these things that like appear all super shiny, but how did we get here? We all have a story, and my story may look different than yours, where I just so often felt like I was questioning myself and my purpose, and then reigniting the spark so that what someone else says no longer was part of the identity. It's what I was saying and what you can say too. The self-talk, the self-care, creating an altar space in your home through grace, gratitude, and glow. These are some of the things I'll be talking about at the next showcase, and then illuminating even more on the summit in March on the 17th on a Tuesday. So I look forward to sharing some of these techniques that have helped me get out of depressive states. And I realized throughout my life, I've gone through these gloomy moments, like that first breakup of a boyfriend, and just feeling like it was over, like, how could I go on? And then to know that we can love again. And when there's a friendship and a conversation that sometimes separates you, sometimes there's a breakup, it feels so painful, a struggle. The part of my body that felt so defeated and didn't want to get out of bed on certain days because of Lyme's disease and many other things that were causing my body to break down. These things continue to happen, and I keep doing what I can do. I sometimes flop on the couch and I feel depressed. I didn't realize it, but I definitely had that whole thing that had to do with the depression that comes when you first have a baby. So those, just getting out of that state. And I had no idea that I was having all these moods throughout my life, but I was always using my body to just get out. And so through the package, through the light, through embracing the Radiant Woman Shines as a motto, where we can use these shine meditations as mini moment pauses so we can remove the barriers and step into the room and feel our heart before anyone else feels it. Just know where we are and then move in and share that love and share that heart with others. So I look forward to connecting with you. You can find me at Marla Sachs. It's all about getting your glow on and also listening to that inside voice, doing things that can reshape your day the Radiant Woman's way, with lots of love and light from my heart space to yours.
Marla, thank you so much for sharing this message and kind of really gentle reminder for the pauses, the self-care, and for us to have that opportunity to have that mind space, because we as women, there's nothing that dims a light more than our routine and, not having those moments to really realign our energy when we on a run and constant performance. That's not the way women were designed to perform. We are designed to be in a flow. And I think that's the reminder that a lot of us were missing. So Marla, thank you so much as we go into 2026. I think it's a beautiful message to share with our audience today.
Thank you.
Please go ahead and connect with Marla. She will be on the Women Thrive Summit in March. Marla, we really look forward to having you at the Women Thrive Summit in March.
Thank you. My talk is your roadmap to radiance. So just reigniting that spark. So let's go, ladies. Keep shining and shining your heart. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Marla. We are running nearly out of time. We've got one more speaker to go. So I'm going to have to fast track a tiny bit. But Marla, thank you so much for being here with us to share your beautiful message today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just one more speaker to go. And last but definitely not least, and I'm so thrilled to have her here as she is going to be sharing her message from the heart, Dr. Leisha Antica, who is the founder of You Own University and the creator of the Soul Psychology Method. She helps tomorrow's leaders in transformational healing get certified as holistic trauma-informed coaches, yoga teachers, and thought leaders through her Amazing You and Reclaim Intimacy methods. Her mission is to help survivors of trauma reclaim their identity, embody their purpose, transform their story into books, businesses, and platforms that change lives and elevate a world for the next generation. And today we've spoken certainly quite a bit around trauma and healing and work. And Leisha, so great to have you here.
So great. Yeah, I was listening. I was like, they're saying what I'm going to say. They're saying what I'm going to say. And then I thought, oh my gosh, isn't it beautiful that we have a soul tribe here? Like we're all on this same mission going forward to be like, okay, everybody wake up. We're breaking through. We're transforming traumas. We're transforming ourselves. We're taking our mission and our message and our life experiences and elevating it into something amazing, whatever that means for you. And we're all doing it ourselves. So I'm so honored to be here today and listen to all of you guys today. I'm stoked, and thanks for having me. Yay, Ray.
Amazing. Yes, Lisha, you're amazing. Your energy is magnetic. I can't wait to hear it. And you know what? Even though we're all speaking on our own experiences of it, we all have somewhat different stories and different missions. So I love hearing every woman's story of how she gone through difficult situations, how she found her healing, and then set on to her true purpose. So I can't wait to hear you talk, and I will be back at the end.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So I'm just inspired by everybody on here because just like Rhea was saying, it is absolutely imperative that you know that even if somebody has a very similar story to yours, that your execution, your authenticity, telling your own story, whether it's good, bad, ugly, positive, the biggest breakthrough in the world, is what is powerful in the world. And when we stop that comparison, that's when we get the breakthrough. And so what if I told you that the hardest thing that you lived through, right, could be literally what transforms your life, right? As a platform for you to lead in business, lead as a coach, lead a meaningful execution in life, whatever you really want to do. And you lived through that so you can help others. You lived through that so you can learn how to stop doubting yourself, so you can teach people how to have more confidence. And so that is really what I love helping women and men do, transform their trauma and turn it into something. And this really began for me as she said, my name is Lisha Antica, and I own Your Own University, but I began as a yoga teacher. And that turned into coaching, that turned into me getting my PhD to really begin to dive in and study the effects of trauma on our human vessels and how trauma affects our interconnectivity with our soul. So I studied transpersonal psychology. And through that, I got to learn like what makes people tick from different angles and what makes us conscious beings and where our soul is, like that part of you that's consciousness, that's the witness of you, and learn more about the different layers that we have coming in. So that's what I love to help my clients step into, is like, know yourself so your authenticity can come through. And then from that place, you have a breakthrough and you can go and do whatever. I've had people actually come through my coaching certification program and go and sell real estate or go back into corporate America and landed his dream job. Another client of mine opened up a tea shop. Another client of mine opened up a doula place, right? So you can go through these trainings, you can go through these awarenesses and find yourself, and then take that into the world to serve how your soul is supposed to serve. So when I was 13, I had been abused for a majority of my life. You can learn more about that during my talk, from Sovereign to or from survivor to sovereign, how soul psychology helps women build empires, during our talk in March. So please come and listen. But when I was 13 years old, I had been through a lifetime of abuse, different experiences, but I also lived with a family that was very spiritual. We prayed a lot. We were very open to things. And I was running away from an abuser and in a field, and God appeared to me as like a ball of light in front of me. I can visualize, I can see it, but I saw this face as if it was Jesus in front of me, as I would have related to God at that moment. And it said, go home and tell. And I'm 50 now, and I realized my entire life, like that my most painful trauma, that trauma activated me. Now, within a week, everything in my life changed and our healing journey began on both sides of our family, on everything. I became the trauma transformer. Now, it took me years to walk through this. I had to walk through the layers that I talk about in identity. I had to heal and almost lose myself in each of those layers. But as I did, I continued to build and tell and build and tell. And that's what I help my clients do now. So one thing that I hear from my clients over and over and over again is that they feel too broken to go out and teach from their heart. They still have more healing to do. This is really your trauma stopping you, your nervous system stopping you to stay small. And for years, I stayed in learning mode, right? I got my PhD, for goodness sakes, like learning and not doing this was like safe, even though I was in business, right? I was still learning. Oh, I'll get it when I get it better, when I get it better. And so I help you step out of that. We're going to talk more about that in the talk. We're also going to talk about how many survivors, they talk about how trauma like makes the negative things where you go to sleep or you have depression or all of that stuff, the PTSD, the stopping, but they forget to tell you about us trauma survivors that are overachievers, right? That we go into burnout, that we minimize our story. And we've been talking a lot about that today on the summit with the masks and covering up. And so we're going to talk more about that and how to utilize that genius, right? To help you not play small, but not play too big either. Find that happy medium of joy and peace within your story to be your own authority to step forward. And then last, I'm going to talk about my favorite subject now, and that is post-traumatic growth, right? Post-traumatic growth isn't about reliving your pain. It's a way that you can heal and deal so you can heal those last little bits of trauma and drama and insecurity that you might have, the anxiety, maybe a little bit of depression you're still carrying around with you as you lean into building your empire and telling your story and helping others. Research shows that when people making meaning from their past that they've lived through, when they drop that meaning and they really look at it, like, how did it help me grow? Then you gain confidence, you gain clarity, you gain leadership, like immediately. So if you're wondering where you're at on your path to like your soul journey right now, I want to invite you to take my quiz where I'll help you figure out, like, if you're in the rebuilding stage or if you're in the messenger stage, really honing in your message and finding your path, or if you're like in the architect stage, but maybe you're in the architect stage, but you're like, ooh, I don't really know. And you're hiding in the rebuilder stage. So we'll talk about all of that. And you're more than welcome to set up a call with me once you take that quiz, and I'll help you roadmap that. Just let me know that you're coming from Thrive so I can offer it for you for free. And that said, I am so happy to be a part of this event. Please come and hear my talk and everybody else's talks. This is just amazing, like this whole group.
Alicia, thank you so much for being here and sharing your message with our audience today, empowering, inspiring our listeners today. What impact do you hope to make during the Women Thrive Summit?
I hope to help people know that being stuck, especially in early childhood trauma, which is my specialty, is something that you don't have to be stuck in forever. That internal, I can grow up and step forward. I believe that we're actually here, like all these women today, right? Like yourself included, to actually be the change in the world. We are the trauma transformers. We are the transmuters because we've experienced it, whatever you experienced. And so I want you to know that, step confidently into it, and thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Alicia, where can people find you?
So Dr. Lisha Antica on pretty much everywhere. I'm really active on TikTok, actually. So Dr. Lisha Antica on TikTok, LISHA ANTIQUA, and the doctor is just the DR. But I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram. So, and YouTube. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here, sharing your message. I really hope it supported and inspired someone to really start that healing journey, because it's far too important for our transformation and our growth and just alignment to our true purpose in life. So really appreciate you sharing your story here with us today, and I'm really looking forward to having you at the Women Thrive Summit in March.
Thank you. Me too. See you guys soon.
Thank you. And this wraps up our Women Thrive Speakers Unleashing the Power of Women Voices event today. And I hope you're truly walking away from this event with your cup filled from all of these amazing speakers who share their stories, who've been vulnerable, who share their experiences, their knowledge, their experience, their wisdom. And if you enjoy this has been just a snippet of what are you going to experience during the Women Thrive Summit in March. So what I do want to encourage you again is go over to womenthrivesummit.com, register for your free spot, and you're going to be at a front row seat watching all these amazing speakers, connecting with them, meeting the rest of our community. And when you do sign up, you get invitation to be part of our behind the scenes community off of social media, where you can meet all of these speakers and many other women on there. And before we go, what I want to let you know about is now Women Thrive magazine is available for digital subscription as well as print. So make sure you subscribe, because next issue we are dropping at the end of the month, as well as our subscription is going to deliver right to your door internationally our special edition of the Women Thrive magazine in March. That's going to be much bigger issue, covering more stories and some incredible women. So I want you to grab a copy of the Women Thrive magazine, share it with others, because this is truly a story worth telling, and for us to continue growing as a community. Again, want to just remind you of the Women Thrive book, volume 4, and all the other volumes. If you want to hear women sharing their stories and reading about their experiences going through trauma and healing and growth, highly recommend you grabbing one of these books to take you on your journey of self-discovery, healing, growth, and maybe just finding a new path. And I just want to say thank you to all of our speakers today, to our trailblazers, for the women for being courageous, stepping into their purpose, their power, and sharing their stories on this stage, for inspiring our audience. Without you, our speakers, and without you, our listeners today, we would not have this community and this event. So I just want to say huge thank you and a big shout out to Women Thrive team behind the scenes who help us make it happen. So to our production team, marketing team, our operations, and everybody else who are involved in the production of the Women Thrive Summit, I would not be able to do that without them. And of course, my support at home, who continuous dedication to helping me run the household and be here on this night, as I can hear my little daughter. As I say, she's my little co-host on these events. She needs her mama time now. So thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you all at the Women Thrive Summit. We're going to have one more of these showcases in February, so save your spot by heading over to womenthrivesummit.com. Check out all the other opportunities we have there, and we look forward to seeing you at another event. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you again soon.